Well, tonight we wrap things up with match day 13 right here in the quaint little neighborhoods of Vallecas. It's going to be Rayo Vallecano lining up against Real Madrid as the home side try to regain their place at the top of the table. And in the case of Rayo Vallecano, will they certainly continue to try and be the giant slayers that they have been so far this campaign? Well, just to refresh our memories then of who's going to be featuring in this one, let's cross back over to Vallecas then, where Bruno Bargareche is there patiently waiting for us. Bruno, why don't you run us through the starting 11s once more?
Hello, Sembra. I can just about hear you. There's some hardcore 6 a.m. rave music inside the stadium here. Not that I'd know a great deal about that, but I could just about hear you. And yeah, we're talking ahead of the game. Was Íñigo Pérez, assistant manager to Andoni Iraola, and the fact is that they've only won one of their last 14 encounters against Real Madrid. But does that mean anything? I mean, teams change, momentums alter, so you're not really going to read too much in it. I don't think Andoni Iraola or Íñigo Pérez will be reading too much into it themselves, but here is what the assistant coach to Iraola had to say ahead of this clash tonight, where Rayo Vallecano, with a win, could take a step closer to the European places.
We are in a good form. We are doing very well, and we know about the difficulty of the opponents ahead of us, and we will try to win as we always do here. At the end of the day, these teams have top players in all the positions, and also the subs and the ones left out of the squad. But it's true that the absences of Karim Benzema and Toni Kroos gives us a chance, and we will try to make the most out of it.
All right, well, given that Bruno unfortunately couldn't hear what we were talking about, let's go ahead and run through the 11s ourselves then once more. And there's been one change to each side respectively, but of course we can start with Iraola's men as they try, as we said, to take 3 points off of Real Madrid. They've already done so actually against the likes of Sevilla, Valencia. They also took a point off of Atletico Madrid and Barcelona. So here you go. Dimitrievski in goal, a back for Fran Garcia, Catena, Lejeune and Baliu. It's going to be a midfield of Valentin, Comesaña as the double holding pivots, and you've got Trejo as the one who replaces Unai Lopez, the only change for tonight, and he plays in the hole behind Camello, who's flanked by Alvaro Garcia and Isi Palazón. So a very strong 11 from the home side, who's definitely going to come out guns blazing against Real Madrid, I would imagine.
It's the first choice 11. Yeah. Because Trejo, of course, is first choice as a number 10 of the striker, and the two midfielders this season, Patrick has started very well, but now in the last game has been Oscar Valentin and Santi Comesaña. Alvaro, who was very, very impressive last season, not at the same level, but what happens that his friend on the other side, which is Isi Palazón, is possibly the best player of the season for Rayo Vallecano.
Listen to this. He's participated in 53% of the team goals, and he is the best shot taker as well, Isi Palazón, this season. So there you go.
Fantastic season. A player completely different to Alvaro. Alvaro is pace and verticality. Isi Palazón is a left-footed player on the right, coming inside. Fantastic quality to link up and have shots on goal, put some good crosses. So different to Alvaro, but having a great season, Sembra. And Camello starting, being there. We all thought that Camello will play a couple of games only and then Falcao will get in. Well, doing very well and growing very well and evolving as a player fantastically.
The evolution of
the evolution of a player.
Of the camel.
The camel, of course.
What's amazing is that Camello, despite that he belongs to Atletico de Madrid, spent most of his career playing in the second division on loans in teams like Mirandés. When Rayo was playing in second division already with Andoni Iraola, Isi Palazón was already playing there, so he didn't have experience in the top flight. So some of these players spent most of his career playing in second division. Some of them make it when Rayo was promoted, and despite that, they are competing so well. It's true that the best results always are on the road. Camp Nou, Ramon Sánchez Pizjuán, in other big stadiums where they're able to clinch the points, but it's really a derby of extremes, because Real Madrid, obviously, they have the best players in the game, the highest salaries. It's all about, it's a luxurious club with a lot of trophies. And in Rayo Vallecano, you look at the, well, it's true that some players have experience in other places, but most of these players have played more seasons in the second division than in the first division, and it's amazing.
But quite a few of them also come from the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid. They actually came through the youth academies. Look at the two fullbacks in the case of Fran Garcia as well as Baliu. They're very offensive. Both of them have plied their trade in younger years at those two clubs, and they love to fly forward. And actually, Rayo Vallecano is one of the best teams in terms of playing out wide down the flanks, and also one of the best teams in terms of converting set pieces as well. Certainly a big string to their bow.
Yeah, set pieces, of course, taken by this season is Palazón, as we said. If he's for a left-footed, and Oscar Trejo is a fantastic set piece taker. And as you said, fullbacks, they've been always very, very offensive for Rayo Vallecano. Baliu right back, with the past of in the Academy of Barcelona, of course, international also, and flying forward. The difference is that Baliu has a lot of room because he comes inside, and Alvaro is more wide player on the left, and Fran doesn't have as much room, but he keeps going forward. So the two fullbacks are very, very offensive, and we're going to see today how they're going to put some good crosses in the box.
Okay, well, taking advantage of seeing Rodrigo. Back forward, Mendy, Alaba, Militao, Carvajal, the only change coming in for Tchouaméni, replacing the suspended Toni Kroos in midfield. He is alongside Valverde and Modric, and up top it's going to be Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo and Asensio, who makes his second consecutive start for the first time in quite some time. And of course, there is no Karim Benzema tonight, no Karim the Dream, but there is the so-called VRV, we're calling them, Valverde, Vinicius and Rodrigo.
And what a day for Rodrigo and for Vini Jr. and Militao, because they just have the news going to the stadium that they are in the squad that will play the World Cup for the Brazilian national team. So, well, not a surprise. We'll expect them to be there, but it's a good day for them because they know that they will travel into Qatar. And it's true that one of the best things about Real Madrid this season is that they can win games without Karim Benzema and also without Thibaut Courtois. They proved that they are able to do it when during some months we always say they have the best keeper and the best striker. Sometimes they don't have the game. They prove that they have a lot of resources and new faces, new fresh faces, able to keep winning, keep in the winning days. Today, obviously, it is not Toni Kroos who's out. It means that Tchouaméni is back in the team. No Benzema, no Antonio Rudiger as well. But it's Real Madrid. It's so that they need to win the game. Otherwise, it's no problem. Not a big problem for Real Madrid, but you prefer to go to the World Cup being in the top of the table.
Of course.
And after the draw against Girona, it's a perfect derby to be back to the first spot and send a message to Barca saying, no, don't you think? we will be the first.
Don't get carried away. It belongs to us, right?
Take it slow, Xavi. Take it slow. Let's see what happens.
Well, the good news for them as well is they have a great track record at Vallecas, Real Madrid. I think, if memory serves me well, it's like 10 wins, 1 loss, and the 1 loss was in the 2018-19 campaign with Zidane, but they'd already lost the league at that point, so they weren't playing for anything. Rayo Vallecano were still playing for something at that stage. So they do tend to fare incredibly well whenever they make this trip across town.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between the two clubs are huge, Semra. So Tony just talked us about what are, well, of course, the wedges of the two clubs. On paper, should give them the 3 points to Real Madrid, but I was just
going to say Asensio. We should talk about Asensio. Yeah. But did I interrupt something else you wanted?
No. I said that's going. On paper, it will be a difficult game for Real Madrid.
Sure,
it's a very tiny pitch, not a lot of spaces. Rayo will fly forward. They're pressing. They create chances, so it's not going to be easy for Real Madrid.
Asensio had one of the best performances that he's had in a while against Celtic. He was everywhere. He was like a creative playmaker, almost coming in from the right-hand side. He scored a goal. He was playing in some nice passes into the area to help out his teammates, and it's obviously earned him the right to start again tonight.
Yeah.
He hasn't started in La Liga since match day 37 last season, as Bruno was telling us earlier. Yeah, and
the difference between this season and last season for Asensio is that when he played, in some games that he played as an attacking midfielder. We thought that being Valverde on the team, Valverde will be the attacking midfielder and Asensio will be the right winger. So Asensio some games has played as a midfielder. Let's see today who of the two will play it in each position. But again, he's a player that is very dangerous. Possibly his main problem is he doesn't participate a lot in the game, but what he does, he's got quality, can link up, he's got an extraordinary strike from distance.
Yes, he does.
With the left foot, and this is something that he might use today because the pitch is not too big, so he will be with possibilities to have a shot if he gets very close to goal.
Yeah, with Real Madrid, it's incredible how Fede Valverde became one of the most solid players in the game, the level of confidence, and every single week I had the feeling that we're talking about a new face. We haven't been talking about Marco Asensio some weeks ago, and suddenly in the last games he's been brilliant. Against Celtic, the Glasgow, he was brilliant. And that talks about how Carlo Ancelotti is able to talk with all the players, even the ones that they're not playing well, until they find the best version. Maybe we still miss Eden Hazard, the Belgian star, not at the highest level, but remember that during the past weeks, we talk about Marco Asensio, we talk about Rodrigo, we talk about Vini Jr., about Benzema, we talk obviously about El Pajarito, or the former Little Bird, Valverde. And that's what turns so dangerous this Real Madrid side. It's about the collective. It's almost impossible to stop them. Santi Comesaña explained in an interview this week, it's almost impossible to stop Real Madrid, but it's something good when you have nothing to lose. If we try to stop them and we end being defeated 3-0, all the supporters will understand. So all the supporters will be behind us. So just go there, dream, because we have a chance to stop also another giant as we done this season against Sevilla or Barça.
And they do so from the very comfortable position in the top half of the table. So like you say, they don't really have anything to lose because they are very much enjoying life in the top flights at this early stage of the campaign. Well, listen, we have to leave it there for now because, of course, we're getting very close to kick-off. So we'll hand you over to your commentary team of Duncan Bishop and Tony Padilla here. So enjoy this wonderful derby at Vallecas. We'll see you at halftime as well as after the game, as always, for all the post-match analysis. Enjoy. Adios.